Entertainment radio on the go. This is eRadio.
It's time again for the Louwdown on mental health, and joined by Louw Breytenbach. How's it going, Louw?
Good, thanks, Ian. Glad to be back.
Good to have you.
Thank you so much. Are you ready for today?
I am, and this is such an interesting topic. You sent it to me, so I'm just going to read what it's saying here. For F's sakes. So, hoekom vloek jy my nou hierso, Louw?
I think after COVID and with this whole lockdown business, this is a sentence that has ran through every single South African's brain at least once during this lockdown. Oh. If it did not, you are a better person than I am.
No, you're a bloody angel if it didn't. Jeez. Baie erge dinge as dit, glo my.
But today's F stands for something else. So,
okay.
So yeah, we're going for F's sakes, and it's the 4 steps to mental freedom. So it's for your own freedom's sake that you need to join in and listen in today.
Okay, well, I can't wait, Louw. I want to say the floor is yours, but that's not how we do it. The air is yours. Is that okay?
Yes, of course. So, Ian, as you know, as always, I'm not a psychologist and not a professional mental health advice giver.
Really?
Look, I tell people what to do, but
could have fooled me.
They listen, it's not in my power. I'm simply a mental health activist, and I've been dealing with mental health issues for the past 2 decades. So this is simply me sharing some advice and techniques that worked for me, and obviously thoroughly researched. And yes, we just get to chat and break the stigma around mental health, and hopefully engage with our listeners to ensure that they find some positivity for the week ahead, and hopefully, if not positivity, at least some knowledge that they can take with them.
Great, and always very, very grateful for your time, Louw. And you make a lot of effort with these topics. So looking forward to hearing the 4 steps to mental freedom. Where do we start?
So the first one for me, I divided them into 4 categories, obviously, for F's sakes. And the first one is an action. So an action that you have to do is to let go of your expectation of other people. En hoorie, dit is 'n storie op sy eie. Ek kan vir jou vertel. Like, so many times we hold grudges against people, or we expect people to act a certain way. We expect someone to hold the door for us. I don't know, maybe Ian, you expect listeners to phone in, and we get upset when they don't, and we get upset when things don't work according to plan. I know off air we spoke about things sometimes just not going your way, or people letting you down, or someone that you do everything for, and the one day you need them, they are just not there. And then it feels as if your entire world collapses. And that can put such a strain on your mental health and even your physical health, because that anxiety and that circular thought pattern drains your energy so much. So for you to have mental freedom, you have to let go of your expectation of others. And this means that you have the understanding that every person is dealing with their own problems, and every person has their own view of what they think is right, and every person is focused on their goal. And as selfish as it sounds, we need to understand that just because you are a vegetarian, that doesn't mean the lion is not going to eat you. So just because you are a good person, you cannot expect to go out in the cruel and vicious world we live in and go, kumbaya, everything's going to be fine and everyone's going to treat me with the same intent I treat others.
You're going to be so disappointed.
Ja, ek dink jy sal ook baie daarvan weet van mense, veral in ons industrie. Jy weet, partykeer wil jy net op iemand se knoppie druk en hulle is nie daar as jy hulle nodig het nie.
Nee, die hele knoppie verdwyn sommer, hoor.
Or sometimes people do show up for us. I know specifically in mental health, people try to be there for us, but they don't show up in the way we want them to show up. And that, Ian's for me a big thing, because I often have people, I have no shortage of support. I have a very good support structure for which I'm very thankful for. But sometimes people show up, but just not in the way that I need it. And then it's very easy for me to try and push them away and try to say, I'm okay, just leave me alone, I just need space. But the idea behind this is to see people's intent, to know that people have their own lives to focus on, and to know that your reality doesn't change based on someone else's behavior. So the moment you can take action and let go of that expectation, your baggage becomes a bit lighter to carry. Because at the end of the day, you're going to have to be your own hero. There's no one else that can step in and save the day for you. You're the one that's going to have to tackle that problem and solve it and solution it, or get the help that you need if you do need professional help.
Yeah. We want somebody to come and save us. Let's be honest. It's such a good thought, but we're not living in a rom-com.
And look, that's where the second step comes in, responsibility. So, and every time I hear responsibility, I go for F's sakes, because I feel like I'm already carrying the weight of the world on me. But this is the beauty of the second action of responsibility, is letting go of your responsibility that you have to others. Again, for the empaths, this is a heavy subject, because we feel that because we are good, we need to show up for everyone. Otherwise, they won't think we are good people. Or if we put our own needs first, they will think we're selfish. Or if I don't have an excuse to go to that party, what will people think? Because the fact that I'm just not list to go to the party is not good enough. Like, someone has to have a tummy ache, or there needs to be food poisoning in the family, or the dog must get sick. We come up with all these delusional excuses because we're so scared of just telling the truth.
And last time we spoke about that, and you said, time we spoke about that, and you said, what was it? You said your granny died like 4 times already. Exactly. Was it your granny or something? I remember now. Hi.
Ek sê sis vir jou, dit was my ouma. But look, that was my go-to excuse, was a family member passing on, and I know it's terrible, but we do all these silly things just to keep people close to us, because we're so damn scared that they're going to leave us and we're going to end up alone. And therefore, we try and compensate and sometimes overcommit and overcompensate to prove that we are good people, or because we care for someone so much, we want to fix them, we want to save them. And what I needed to learn and what I needed to understand was that sometimes by stepping in and saving someone constantly, time and again, you are removing the lesson life wants to teach them, because they are not learning it themselves, and that's why you keep on repeating the pattern of saving them when they make the same mistake. En partykeer is dit 'n geval van, as die lewe vir jou dieselfde toets gooi, dan is dit omdat hy wil hê jy moet hom slaag, en nie sodat iemand jou net kan kom red nie. So we have to let go of that weight that we have to please everyone, that I call it the disease to please, and we have to start putting our own needs first, and remember that I had a pastor friend that, more in religious terms, he said, you're serving the savior of the world. You don't have to be the savior of the world. You cannot save everyone from everything simply because you are a good human.
Your so true.
Goodness doesn't get determined by the fact that you show up for everyone at the expense of yourself, because that's not self-love. And in last week's chat, we spoke about loving yourself and healing yourself from within. And the moment you try and people please, it just takes away from that love you try and create for yourself. Nou, nommer 3 is 'n kort enetjie, maar 'n moeilike enetjie.
Okay.
So the third one, Ian, is to act, and I'm not talking about on stage or camera. because ons het baie van daai op 7de Laan. But,
Oh no.
You need to sorry, I had to. But the act that you have to do is move over to the act of forgiveness for yourself. You know, sometimes we are our own harshest critics. You know this because I know you are a perfectionist. As jy het nie wil herken nie, I can tell you now that you have a certain way of wanting things done. We spoke about this.
Yeah.
And sometimes it just doesn't get done that way. And then it's so easy for us to feel like we let ourselves down. Or I know some of my younger students, when they're writing exams, then because they didn't get a 90 or 95, they immediately feel like they let their families down, or they didn't receive the Dancer of the Year award and now mom is going to be angry. So we place so much pressure on ourselves that we need to take a hard look in the mirror and forgive ourselves for all the times we think we let ourselves down. And just letting go of that guilt already set you on the path to mental freedom, which will be your third F on that journey. And ja, dan die laaste enetjie, my fourth F and my most important F. If I could give the biggest F to anyone, this would be the F.
I can't wait.
If there ever was an F to give, this is the one, is to stand in service. And I can't stretch this enough, especially now during lockdown. It's so important to stand in service. But the service that I'm referring to here is a little bit different because, you know, all of us want to stand in service of other people because we have this disease to please. But the service you need to stand in is the service of yourself. You have to make sure that you are looking after your own health, your own wellness, making sure you do regular medical checkups, making sure if you need counseling that you remove that stigma and go to a counselor. If you are seeing the signs of depression and anxiety creep up, that you go talk to a professional about these things, even a life coach if you are scared of the stigma attached to psychology or medication. Reach out to someone that will then refer you to a specialist if needed, or a psychologist that can refer you to a psychiatrist if needed. I think oftentimes we are so scared to stand in service of ourselves and speak up to say that, listen, I'm having a hard time, because we are scared that we are immediately going to be medicated. And there's still a long journey ahead to break the stigma around medication and depression and anxiety. But if we can just at least start this mental freedom journey by chatting about it and reaching out and speaking up when we are suffering, we will realize how many hands there are around us to carry us and to support us. And along with that, to stand in service to the earth. And I know this sounds super earth child, tree hugger, vegan recipe person speaking, but it just means to get involved in something that serves your community or nature that doesn't involve people. So start planting a vegetable garden, start painting, start going out and volunteering at the SPCA, get connected with puppies, offer to walk other people's dogs, whatever it is that tickles your fancy, whether it's gardening or painting or animals perhaps, but get out and do something where you serve something that is more vulnerable than you are. The moment you start caring for plants, you start caring for animals, that is when your own heart and your own gratitude grows. And for that entire moment, even just holding a friend's baby, I know I said no human interaction, but even just something as small as that, anything that's less vulnerable than you, makes that you focus on that thing so intently because you don't want to hurt it. You have no intention of hurting anyone around you. Your only focus is that task right in front of you. And that brings us to mindfulness. And the moment you can stay
in the moment is when you are on that journey to mental freedom, because everything else ceases to exist because you are focused on that one thing that needs you right now. You don't have the time to stress about the future. You don't have the capability to go back into the past and replay thoughts of what could have, should have, and would have, because that moment requires your full attention. So whether it is woodwork, whether it is volunteering at a community center or a vegetable garden, whatever it is, do something that puts you in service of others without too much human interaction then, of course.
I like it. It sounds good. And that's a wrap for F's sakes, Louw.
That's the one, Leon.
Thank you so much. As always, very, very insightful. I think we must talk about mindfulness and focus on that one day as well.
Absolutely.
That's so important,
Absolutely.
especially in these times that we're living in. Louw, we can find you on social media. I know that you're on social media. I'm stalking you.
Yes,
no, I'm joking. You're on Instagram. You've got the Friday Live at 5, so that's nice. We talk about mental health as well then.
Yes, so every Friday, live at 5 p.m. On my Instagram channel, it's Louw Breytenbach 02. We tune in live to discuss matters of mental health importance, and then viewers and listeners are obviously welcome to ask me questions. Where I can assist, I will, and if I don't know the answers, I will always refer them to a specialist in the field, and of course my Instagram channel that is dedicated solely to mental health is the Louwdown quote, and there they will also find numbers of counselors they may contact and professional people who are referred to by SADAG that will be able to offer some support and guidance during these times.
Excellent. Looking forward to our chat again next week, Louw. You must have a good Wednesday and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks so much, Ian. Looking forward to the next one. Have a good one.
Thanks, you too.